this is a crucial time for brothers to get involved in other things than just, kicking a ball in the backyard of the house. So we both miss that actually, and this is a big miss in my life because.
Shut up, Janola, you fucking twat. No more Mr. fucking nice guy. Unfortunately, yeah. So I've had to abandon listening to that Janola. What's the programme? What would you call that? I don't know. On the radio, This Sporting Life for Danny Kelly. I like Danny Kelly, and then Janola's on tonight, which you've obviously just established. I've had to turn that off now to talk to you cunts because it's Sunday night, and apparently these go every Monday. And I didn't do one the week before last, and it cost me 50% of the people who listen, and the people who listen are next to fucking nothing anyway. So, pressure's on, innit? But as I say, it's going to be a different type of lecture tonight. A great friend of mine, the legendary ex-comedian, that was funny, the legendary ex-comedian Chris Dangerfield, he messaged me on Faceache this week and said, I listened to last week's lecture 9, one-word review, suicidal. I thought, what? How dare thee? I listened back to that one and I quite enjoyed it. And then when I went to my producer's house on Monday or Tuesday, I believe, Tuesday it may have been because it was late, wasn't it? Sorry about that. And he listened to a bit and he was like, what the fuck? The point I'm trying to make, I expect, is I'm totally fucking incapable of quality control of my own material because I'm such a fucking narcissist. Sometimes, I listen back to, I record stuff, I listen back to it, usually at least once, before I go up to KD Lang, my producers, and say, oh, all right, should we bang this on? I usually listen back at least once, and 9 times out of 10, I just think, fucking genius, Griff. Unbelievable. Once people latch on to how good this is, it's inevitably going to go global. Because I was once described by, I can't remember who it was, I think it may have been me, as a one-man Anton Deck. Now, I don't say that lightly. Point I'm making, as I've established through my sort of prank call history and other various enterprises, I'm one of these rare people who can appeal to 3 generations. At the same time, a bit like the Anton Deck phenomenon. That's what we're all looking for. Jimmy Savile, he was a classic. He could appeal to, I think it was about 7. He took it to another level. I think he was appealing to about 7 to 8 generations at his peak. But your standard performers, you got your Anton Decks, you got your Johnny Bishops, you got your Davinas, you got your Griffs. Can appeal to the sort of 3 generations. For example, George from Llanryddion, the award-winning prank call I did some years back. You may have heard some samples from it in the track that I kindly released free of charge recently, Driving Force. But that's a classic example where my son was about 13 at the time, and the first time I played it to him, he just absolutely cracked up laughing. I'd never seen him laugh so much. You don't see that with your kids, you don't see the best of each other as parents and kids. You don't see your kids, or rarely anyway. I think I touched on this last week about when your kids genuinely make you laugh. When you're with your mates, you'd be in your fucking proper full-on self when you're that age, about 13, 14, he's 17 now, but both apply. You know, and it's with your mates, so you're proper fucking laughing and all that. So to see my son laughing like that, I didn't even recognise the noise, do you know what I mean? It was wonderful. And obviously, people of my sort of generation and, older as well, a lot of the fans of my earlier stuff actually were so old when they got into it, they're now actually dead. Which is probably why the listening figures for these lectures is so low. That would probably be the reason for it. Because most of my hardcore fan base are dead. Let's have a little bit of silence for them, bit of respect.
That's a gay bar! Gay bar! Gay bar!
Mainly for me to turn around and check the oven. I've got some food in. Sunday night it is in reality, so hopefully you'll hear this tomorrow. Making it topical, really topical. I put a plea out on Facebook just now for some subject matter to discuss, and all I had back was some scouser asking me, are drugs good? Well, to answer that, they paid your fucking mortgage, son, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? So don't knock them. Don't knock them, Mr. W. Now, I'm just looking at this now for some timings on this food, yeah. I've gone for the old, I just couldn't face cooking tonight, I've had a busy weekend. My daughter was her birthday yesterday and took her back to her mum's tonight, and I thought, oh Christ, it's Sunday night, better get the lecture done. And as I say, I couldn't face cooking tonight, so I just popped a couple of these ready meal things in the oven. Tesco Finest. Now, it's a strange phrase, Tesco Finest. That's like the equivalent of saying best spastic, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The superior retard. Tesco's Finest food. Now, Cumberland sausages, creamy mash, outdoor bred pork sausages. What, you let the pigs out? Fucking well done. God, that must be healthy. I don't like to eat a sausage from a pig who's been out and about wandering willy-nilly around the bloody fields. But obviously, I probably eat plenty of pigs who've never seen the fucking sun. And if they live round here, they can wander where they fucking want and they couldn't see the sun because the weather's still depressing. Hey, stop it, Rich. Stop it. We're not going to get suicidal. But yeah, so food's in the oven. Cumberland sausages. We've got an Aberdeen Angus cottage pie as well. We're really going for it tonight. And Bob's your uncle, yeah. A tax rebate Friday. Wee! I won't have to talk about poverty until next week. But obviously, put a negative spin on it. It was probably about £300 less than it should be because of the trouble I had with the previous, employer, as I've discussed in the lectures. Bear with me. Falcon and Pointer. And, there we go. Day before my daughter's birthday, though, absolutely skint. My ESA got fucking taken off me this week because this mix-up with me working in the Zon. So they sort of stripped me back to nothing on Wednesday. I was rescued on Thursday. I was rescued on Friday by my tax rebate. The day before my daughter's birthday, so that was bloody lovely. Lovely bit of time in there. Thanks for that. Yeah. So, Swans haven't played this weekend as well. FA Cup weekend. I lost a bit of interest in that. Don't watch much football on TV now. And it's weird sometimes, It'll be a game on and I won't even bother fucking watching it. I'll just sit in the kitchen and debate doing the dishes for the evening, Usually come to the conclusion, I'll tell you what, I'll do them in the morning. But, I put out an APB and face it, I'll see if there's anything coming back in. As I say, Mr. W, even a drug's good. There we go. Another comment from Mr. Barnum. If you enjoy having a really big shit, does that make you gay? I have a friend who wants to know. Now, apparently this Barnum character is an actual adult. And that's what he's come up with. If you enjoy having a really big shit, does that make you gay? Do you know, it's a better question than I first give it credit for. Probably not, innit? You just probably enjoy getting huge pieces of shit from inside your body, outside your body, as you've done here, Mr. Barnum, with your question. But you've done it through your mouth. So you've just had technically had a shit through your mouth. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for your comment. That's, it's done wonders for the show. Are drugs bad? If you enjoy having a really big shit, does that make you gay? Now, maybe I've been overestimating my fan base's intelligence. Or maybe they're just, my proper fans, my core unit, of fans. Maybe Sunday night, they're probably just really busy and they're probably just having a bath because they've got school in the morning and just doing a bit of last minute revision for their +4s. So yeah, that's the worry with them. Oh, I'm starving. I'm looking forward to this food. Tesco's finest, though. I don't know about that. I saw a program on TV a while back, and it was looking into these sort of ready meals. How they made a program about it, God only fucking knows. But I remember watching it, and they were about, the curries they sell in Tesco, like $2.50 or whatever, and they're comparing different ones. And yeah, basically the point I'm getting to is some of these ready meal curries you can get in Tesco's, they're actually just fucking proper curries, do you know what I mean? Made in the old school way with decent ingredients, nothing put in for the fucking sake of it. There's these sort of firms or whatever, Indians and that, and they just, they're just knocking out fucking bulk fucking supplies of these curries. And but I was thinking about this earlier, what I think you'll rarely find an Indian who's going to make a curry who make enough for tonight, or just make enough for myself. I think it's traditionally been the sort of thing where you just make a fucking load of it, don't you? You can feed a load of fucking heads with a fucking big, huge pile of rice. So, so the people selling it, via Tesco's as ready meals, they're just making it the same way they always have, They've got experience of making in bulk because, their families tend to stay together. And why do they stay together? Because possibly because the patriarchal system where the, fathers and grandfathers think they're in charge. And, the Asian women are probably wise enough and strong enough to think, just let them fucking think that, for fuck's sake, What do they actually do to keep this house ticking over? Fucking not a lot. So let's just make them think they're in charge. They'll be all right, and we'll actually fucking run things. But no, the fucking white women couldn't do that, could they? They couldn't even just pretend we were in charge, Fuck's sake, the Yorkshire Ripper come along. That was manipulated into making the entire country anti-male. As a plan, a plan that was set out at the time. Used the Ripper murders, Yorkshire Ripper murders, which I personally now think that Jimmy Savile took part in some of them. And there is evidence to suggest this as well. I'm not just saying that for the sake of, getting an extra 10 listeners because of the controversy. Yeah, and there was a sort of thing going on. I heard a brilliant thing on the radio about this. Not on the radio, but it was on YouTube, but it was a radio thing originally. Okay, don't over-explain, Griff. But like in the 70s, up in Yorkshire and all that, correct me if I'm wrong, I may just be fucking repeating bullshit. But like in Yorkshire in the 70s, when the Ripper was still on the loose and there was women getting murdered and blah, 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 everybody's living in fear and women be afraid to go out on their own. And there were people starting, doubt their own family members, doubting their own husbands, do you know what I mean? Nobody knew who this guy was who was doing all this fucking evil. And they whipped it up into such a frenzy, they just, the feminist fucking mafia and, and elements of the government who were looking to break down the family unit, splitting up, the traditional mother-father sort of setup, which you'll see in this day and age is, getting rarer and rarer, for what you could technically describe as an unbroken home. But it's in the government's interest just to smash up this family unit because, if the women are working, you can tax them as well. So, right, let's split the house up, get the women working, we'll tax them as well. And B, if you want to control your enemy, then fucking control their kids' thinking. By breaking up family units, it's far easier through the sort of, education system and the fucking social services and any other interfering cunts who are involved. It's easier, in a broken home fucking setup to sort of manipulate and sort of indoctrinate these youngsters. And, I'm what's technically termed as a 4x3. I got 4 children by 3 ladies. And so obviously, my kids all live with their mums, so they're all from broken homes, in inverted commas. Luckily, my kids are all stubborn fucking cunts. So they can think, quite well for themselves. It'll probably make their lives extremely difficult, as it has for me. Doubting everything they're told by authority figures. But, better the fucking devil you know, innit? Fuck's sake. I have double geography on a Friday afternoon in comprehensive in the 5th year Penlan Reform School, boys only. 4th and 5th year comp in a boys only school in the fucking nuttiest fucking part of the fucking city. That was a good laugh. Penlan Reform School. I was just about to tell you something about that. Got caught once, actually, mitching in the buggies by Commander Edwards, his name was. History teacher, head of year. From Penland School, you could just walk across the fields, the football pitches and all that. Get yourself onto Heel Grossi, bang, across the road, you're in the buggies. Now, back in the sort of 85, is it? I'd say 84, 86. Back in that sort of era, when I first started gambling, I was about 13, 14, 15, 16, around about that time. There was none of this. So you got to be 18 to go in the buggies. As long as you could fucking walk, you were allowed in there. If you're under about 9, you had to get somebody else to actually go and put your bet on, but you could stand next to them at the counter and give them the money. And once you got to about 12, 13, you could work if you could work the odds out. First bet I ever did, I won. It was like a fucking 25 pence treble or something, and I won about £7, which, back in them days, living in Portmead, I bought my first house with it. And, it was good to get on the property ladder so early, and, been struggling to stay on it ever since. But, I love that house. I honest to God, I love that house. People say, what are you going to get for a £5 in Portmead? What aren't you going to get? This is 1985 we're talking about. You could get like a 3-bedroomed, what they used to call it, like a Le Pied d'Or, for about £12. top floor with a roof garden. And Travellock asked me to be his agent today. No, he didn't. Hinted at it. Hinted. I pulled one of those Ricky Gervais faces in when I said hinted the first time. Travellock, what a wonderful comedian. Honest to God, I've seen him a few times now. He, first time I ever did stand-up, shared the bill with him and young Dangerfield, the ex-comedian I was talking about earlier. Probably two of the best in Britain, People in the know will know that's not such a ridiculous statement I'm making there, Some people think, what? But what you got there, they used to go out doing gigs together. In their prime, Trevor's was about 10 years ago, and Chris's was about 2 years ago. But in their prime, those two together would have been amazing. It's a pity, the way time worked out. One of them was a spent force. By the time the other one realised that, oh Christ, they're going to be a spent force in a minute. But yeah, I'm trying to think how you describe them. Like a sort of Keegan and Toshak type duo, You got Big Dangerfield, winning all the sort of psycho headers, fucking going up against anybody, saying fucking anything. And then you got your little Trevor Keegan then, just picking up the bits and pieces and just making things out of those bits and pieces. That's, other sort of players, stroke comics. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't make anything out of them. I've seen Trevor, I've seen and heard Trevor, right? Take like a little, I don't know, like a little flick sort of come off the back of the centre half shoulder, in his stride, right? And sort of mould it into 15, 20 minutes of material. Well, not even material, 15, 20 minutes of what I did the last time I seen him, which is, I think, was my original point. I spent the whole time sort of gawping at him. I just had this big, stupid grin over my face thinking, this guy's just fucking, what is it? He just, it's, I don't know, his timing is you can't underestimate timing in comedy. I see this still selling Linda McCartney sausages. She must have been fatter than she looked. Right, I left a little gap there because I'm going to get the old producer to put loads of fucking spontaneous laughter and applause in there because that's my favourite joke I've ever written. And my second one, which is going to, KD's probably going to give this a sort of a golf clap, to suggest that it didn't go down so well, to make the whole thing funnier. But it's been a bad day for athletics. Mo Farah's just tested positive for corn.
For you, and I said to myself, no, not once again. Oh, come on. Then I said, well, what can I say? He said, no, I want to sign you at Barcelona. He wanted me at Barcelona, and was again another tricky summer for me. I was in the mood of staying at Newcastle for a second year. I was in the mood of starting all over again.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot. I was in the mood starting all over. So Newcastle blow a fucking 15-point lead. Whoops. The old bloody unit's gone now. Hang on now, technical difficulties. Be a professional, no, Griff. Just keep talking. I said talk you way out of trouble. 15-point lead, blew the fucking league. And then that summer then, Ginola, Barcelona wanted to sign him. Newcastle pulled the plug on it. How's your fucking luck, David, anyway, yeah? Tidy. I've just eaten that Tesco's Finest. Not ready to do a review yet, you know. People always tend to start commenting about their food the moment that it's their stomach. I like to give my food 2 to 3 hours before I start reviewing it in print. Or in lecture form, you know. Don't like to rush in with a food review. But no, I was used to the old match of the day 2 tonight. You know, usually my daughter's blown the match of the day 1 for me by continually waking up all night, so catch up on the goals and make it out tonight, but just see it in front of me here. Listen to this noise, can you hear this? Right, you would hear that. That wasn't intentional. Can you guess what that noise is? If anybody can guess what that noise is, actually, I will... Well, I won't do a lot, but I'll doubt how you found the true answer. What that is the sound of a Lego mystery machine, a la Scooby-Doo, just driving past the Zoom, because my mother bought that for Coco for her birthday, and I made that today. Do you know what, right, Lego, that shows me how retarded, right, my stress levels are. Now, when I'm making one of these things, right, I don't know if you've done it recently, but this, for example, right, look at it now, actually looks fucking brilliant. But as long as you follow the instructions, right, with the old Lego, these things are very straightforward, right, you know, I got a 6-year-old nephew who does it. And I can get myself into such a fucking lather. Like, Coco, right, just don't talk to me for a minute, wait there, and I'll be just trying to find it out. I can't find this flat 3 flipping pin piece. Coco, look, just let me concentrate on this. And it's like, for fuck's sake, it's just, 25 pictures, right, put that one there, right, put that one there. And it made me think about my sort of inability to handle stress. You know, like fighter pilots, and I can think of a million things. I thought about 94 at the time, but a million things where human beings just have to deal with so much stress, before they get to that point where they're like, all right, just leave it. And what that requires for me is trying to put together a Scooby-Doo mystery machine vehicle. My 5-year-old daughter is simultaneously saying to me, can I have a glass of milk? And and that for me, if it was a vital part of the build, that for me would be enough for, all right, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute to try and establish what they're telling me through these instructions. Right, so I put that one, which is quite clearly marked and it's quite obvious in front of me. I put it there, right. Now that one goes there, right. But yeah, I've made a few of these Lego things over the last couple of months, and you can't underestimate the feeling of satisfaction. Because I had a bit of an issue with this, actually. I did actually make a mistake early in the build, and when you do that, you just, there's no way of realising you've done it until later on. I practically had to take down the entire bloody thing, I moved from the living room out into the kitchen, onto the snooker table. I said, Coco, I'm going to take this out there to concentrate, because I'd fucked it up the first time. And I brought it out here then, and every time my daughter came out, I was just thinking, right, now just don't ask me any questions for a minute. Bloody ridiculous, Rich. Yeah, but I think I probably always... Oh, Christ. Oh, God. Believe it or not, that was Shaggy's hair popping off. If you I noticed with these Lego characters today, they got faces on both sides of them. When you pop the hair on, it hides the back of the head, so you can either have the sort of smiley face, turn the hair around in the head, and have a grumpy face. But yeah, but if you got a Lego Shaggy, right? If you got one there, you can grab it. Right, take the hair off. Don't it look like Michael Van Gogh? And if you got a Lego Shaggy in front of you there, and you do that, you'll realise absolutely fantastic thing I've just said there. If you haven't got one, you probably think I'm just trying to fill a bit of time to drag this out to sort of, anything over the 30-minute mark. You don't want to go too long with these lectures I'm learning. People they can't be bothered to listen to this nonsense for 40, 50 minutes a week. Jesus Christ. Do you get any idea what you can do with 50 minutes a week if you use your time wisely? In my case, I could put together about a quarter of a Mystery Machine in 50 minutes. I think it only took me about 3 hours and 20. But it's done now anyway, that's the main thing. Right, debating now. I may pop a classic prank call on the end of this because people are looking, I like the prank calls. And there's probably people who subscribe to this now who've not heard most of the prank calls I've done. So I may just start popping in a lazy classic at the end of each lecture, just at least there's something decent on each one every week. So I may do that now. If it doesn't happen, that's because I didn't do that. Yeah, anyway, thanks for listening. Feel free to start sharing this sort of thing, because, getting people to listen to this is it's embarrassing for me to try and do it. What am I supposed to say? I recorded myself talking earlier, and it was just absolute load of crap. I don't know what the fuck I'm on about, but can you tell all your mates to listen to it? But if you say it and say, oh, God, hidden depth, the sort of nuance, the enfant terrible of the prank call has finally grown up. Le Piedot. If you're looking, to book a comedian, Travelox your man, contact me, because I'm going to take him up on that hint to be his agent, because he's quality. I'm also selling cheap dog food. If people need dog food, and still haven't sold a cooker. I've got an electric cooker for sale, 60 necker. Oh, new item going on sale this week is a Star Trek chess set. It's from the 80s, I think. It's still in the box. In the still cellophaned up. Let's see. Let me just have a look. The Star Trek Next Generation chess set. Yeah, that's for sale now. And I've got a plastic mitre block. Right, anyway, thanks for listening. Get this shared. Thanks to the subscribers, because you're the nucleus of my ego. I noticed there's 40 subscribers, and that made me think, oh my God, that's like 40 people who care. And that's 10 times more than I need, so thank you guys. Thanks for listening. My name's Sharba. You've been listening to Griff's Lonely Dollar Lectures. And we're gonna finish now with a classic call from the vaults of my prank call history.
John Wilson.
Said.
1 moment. Hello, Matt speaking.
Yeah, hi. I think it may be you I spoke to just now regarding speaking to Mr. Kirbysley.
Yes. I've just had a word with the chief executive.
Right.
We basically feel it's an England issue rather than a club issue, to be honest.
Well, of course it is, but they're going to be Charlton fans travelling over there.
They'll be travelling as England fans rather than Charlton fans, though.
Wiping your hands off this, yeah?
No, we're not wiping our hands off.
Unlike 18.
You're very confrontational.
Well, no. It's very important to us that England don't get banned from Euro 2004.
Certainly, yeah.
18 clubs have actually given us statements. We're in the process of speaking to Mr. Coleman now, which is 19, and the only club who are not prepared to make a statement and telling us they're not going to get involved is Charlton. Is that a little backlash from Chris Powell?
Backlash?
Well, you know.
From what? From Chris Powell?
Well, do you think he was treated...
Where are you going now?
Well, we're trying to establish why he won't cooperate with something which the whole country agrees on.
I mean, but by all means, I mean, we have grave reservations about limiting the freedom of movement of fans on a personal level. But feel free to print that a spokesman from Charlton advised Charlton fans not to travel. But,
well, I also print what you just said.
Sorry?
You know, just freedom of movement. So basically what you were suggesting, or what you're saying you would like to happen...
If you would like a quote...
Just bear with me. It's for Charlton fans to travel to Turkey tooled up.
To what, sorry?
Tooled up.
Tooled up?
Yeah.
You're just introducing all these phrases.
Well, you're telling me that freedom of movement. What about the freedom of the blade that the Turkish fans tend to be operating?
The freedom?
Freedom of the blade.
If you would like a quote...
Yes, please.
You may say something along the lines of a spokesman of the club.
Who's the spokesman?
That's all that we're permitting to give, I'm afraid.
Right, and what statement?
We advise Charlton fans...
Yep, go on.
Not to travel to Turkey.
Yeah, what about freedom of movement, though? Yeah, for what reason, though? Sorry, we can't just print that. It's just going to look...
Sorry, if you let me finish.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah? We advise fans not to travel to Turkey, so they can be safe to attend Charlton games in the future.
Yeah, sorry, is that the club? So that's the club's line, yeah?
That's the line, yeah.
So you don't want them going to Turkey just to make sure they don't get killed, so they can come watch Charlton?
No, but we feel that if they travel to Turkey, they're England fans.
Okay, then...
They're going to support England.
Okay, then are you aware that Paolo Di Canio, as a 17-year-old, was arrested for possession of an offensive weapon, which was a knife?
I have read that, yes.
You have read that? That's a bit of luck, just made that up. And did you have any qualms?
Sorry, what did you say then? That's a bit of luck?
Well, it was a bit of luck, yeah.
A bit of luck about what?
Pardon the pun.
Sorry?
Well, it's a bit of luck that you're saying you were aware that Di Canio still does carry a blade when he goes out in the evening. Do you think it's okay for England fans to go to Turkey and have it off? I
didn't say that in the slightest.
Well, words to that effect.
You're just accusing me of being aware that Paolo Di Canio still carries a knife when he goes out at night. Well, I have no knowledge in the slightest of that.
He's admitted that. He's admitted that in the popular press.
When has he admitted that?
He's admitted that when he goes home, and you know, when he's at home,
right?
Certain
areas. Your superior, please.
Yeah, hold the line, please.
Good afternoon, Tim David speaking. How can I help?
Sorry, I beg your pardon. Can you speak up a bit? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I said good afternoon, Tim David speaking. How can I help you?
Thank you very much. It's Matthew Wright calling from the Charlton Press Office.
Yep.
I've just been in a conversation with a John Wilson.
Yep.
Regarding an article or a press release I think he's writing.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah?
I think he is, yeah.
I'm just intrigued as to the tone of the conversation. I'd like to know more about the press release that he's planning to write. Every time I respond with a word, he insinuates something and puts different words in my mouth, basically.
Right. The actual release centres around our organisation speaking to 20 Premiership clubs.
Right. And what is your organisation again, please?
The organisation that we run is it's in conjunction with the FA for Match magazine.
Right. And what is the organisation?
Well, it's EMAC Publications.
Right.
Do you want to know the organisation that we actually work for?
Yeah, that'd be helpful, please.
EMAC Publications.
EMAC Publications.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you liaise with the FA?
We speak to FA about how to portray and put forward to children and youths interested in football.
Right.
Safety measures in articles such as the popular press, media, different dialogues, different directions for second and third parties.
Well, I mean, from my point of view, I'm very concerned at the tone of questioning that I've just been directed.
Right. Now...
Very confrontational.
What, myself?
No, not yourself, I beg your pardon. Mr. Wilson.
Right. Okay.
I was merely asked to provide a simple quote, and suddenly he's responding with insinuating that Paolo Di Canio will be out on the town tonight carrying a knife, looking to get in a fight, which is verging on slander, I would have thought. Even though Di Canio has previously, I think in his autobiography, referred to that.
Sorry, he said what?
He said words to the effect that Paolo Di Canio will be going out on the town tonight carrying a knife and looking for a fight, and whether I agreed with that or not. Whether I thought that was a good idea.
Can you elaborate on that? I don't quite follow. He said to you that you said to him that Paolo Di Canio walks around with a knife.
That's what he suggested, yes.
That's what he said?
Yes.
What, in this conversation today?
Yes, about 5 minutes ago, if that, just before I spoke to you. That was about the time I have to speak to you.
Right, is he still tooled up at this stage then?
Sorry?
Is he still tooled up at this stage?
That was the question that was posed to me, yes.
What? So you're bringing... Oh, let me get this straight now. Have you just told one of my guys that Paolo Di Canio is admitted to carrying weapons around?
I haven't, no.
Oh, right, okay, so he doesn't...
He was asking me that question.
What, for no particular reason at all?
It seems so, yes. I failed to see the relevance.
Well, so do I, if it wasn't actually the dialogue of the conversation.
I mean, we were merely asked to provide a quote advising Charlton fans whether or not we think they should go to Turkey.
And indeed...
I didn't really see what Paolo Di Canio had to do with anything.
No, neither do I. And indeed, we would welcome a quote from Charlton Football Club.
Yes. Which I've just provided.
Would it be, if you'd be so grateful as to provide that to me, then I can obviously...
Certainly, I mean, the quote was just from a spokesman.
Yeah, okay.
Along the lines that we would advise Charlton fans not to travel to Turkey because our paramount concern is their safety.
Yeah, is that it?
And their ability to attend Charlton matches in the future.
Right, that's brilliant. That's excellent.
Okay. That was our simple quote.
Yeah. No, that's
how we got onto Paolo Di Canio and wielding knives. I'm not quite sure.
Well, I think actually looking at, I've just had a release just under my nose now. I think it's the Evening Standard. It's about the weapons conviction today. The paper.
Right.
Di Canio. I don't know if there's any truth in it or anything. But there is well, I don't know, actually my PA just looked at me now when I started mentioning about Di Canio and weapons and knives. And obviously I must have looked a bit miffed, and now she just passed me a screen print of today's Evening Standard, which has got an article in it about, let me see, Di Canio in weapons assault.
Right.
So I don't know if that's...
Right, I haven't seen that at this point in time.
Right, it seems to have slashed some kid up pretty bad. So, but anyway.
Sorry, when was this? I mean.
No, I'm just looking at the. I've just been given a press print now in front of me, and it's just got there's a third-page article on Charlton football at Paolo Di Canio in Blade Attack.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be commenting on that in the slightest.
No, I know.
With regard to this.
No, well, I'm trying to piece together my colleague has obviously spoken to you about something, and he's obviously seen something that I had until this very second, and he does seem to have cut this boy up pretty badly, by the looks of it on the photo anyway. So I don't know if he's obviously done it or what. If it's Di Canio, it may not be. But does he still carry a blade? Right.
I'm going to end this conversation now.
You should have ended it about 20 minutes ago.
Sorry?
You should have ended it about 20 minutes ago, you twat. You got yourself in all sorts of shit now. We got your name and we got a comment from you saying Di Canio carries knives.
He doesn't carry knives, mate.
Well, what did he slash this guy's face with? Fucking Prince stick.
Well, I'll leave you to it.
Cheers, bye.